everybody, welcome back. My name is Miss Blanco. I am a fourth grade teacher here in Houston, Texas, and it is currently 4:20 on February the 11th, 2026. Now, I need to chat with you guys because I'm gonna be honest, last week there was no weekly vlog, and this week this is the first time I am picking up the camera, and there is some truth to that, and I feel like I can finally talk about it without breaking down because guys, my life currently has been a doozy. So without further ado, I'm just going to talk about it and let you guys know why it's been a little weird with the videos lately, why I'm skipping so many, and why I just kind of want to take a break. I still love to record. I just right now don't have the motivation or the energy or the time, honestly, to record as much as I did. So let me go ahead and explain what is going on. August was beautiful. September, gorgeous. October, amazing. November, beautiful. Chef's kiss. And then December hit. So December 19th, number one, I had a little injury. I looked up online and it said it was going to take 6 to 9 months for that to cure. It has currently been 2 months since this has happened. So this is the current state of my finger, and I feel like this was the day that started it all. The next day, December the 20th was the first day of winter break. So the 2 weeks of winter break, Saturday was the first day. I was at my apartment cleaning up. I went to go get my mom, and she told me the most heartbreaking news. And I'm not going to tell you guys the full truth just because the full truth is even more heartbreaking. But basically, my dad was deported, honestly, and he is now currently in Mexico. He was a resident, which means that he had like a card that said that he could be here as long as he had, work, and he did his taxes, which he did. I remember seeing him on the kitchen table, always doing his taxes with my mom, with his business. But something happened, and again, I'm not going to tell you the full thing because that is more family, personal stuff, but something did happen that caused him to go to Mexico for the time being. I don't know if he's able to come back. I don't know the situation, but I do know that currently my father is in Mexico with his side of the family, so with my grandma, the aunts, the cousins, all that, and my mom is left with my sister and myself. My sister is in Dallas because that's the only place that she could have gotten a job in Dallas. I know, so far, crazy story, right? Now, the only issue is because my dad was making an income, unfortunately, my mom has lost her house of 30 something years, and it is just heartbreaking because that's where I lived. We lived in an apartment when I was born to I think maybe 4 or 5 years old, and then that was the house that I lived in from 5 to current. And then I moved out obviously to my apartment, my first apartment, then my second apartment, but that has been the house. And because now there's no income, I have a solid teacher income, and my sister has a solid teacher income with solid W-2 income with the whole taxes and everything, but not enough to pay both our rent, our apartment rent, and my mom's rent for the house. So unfortunately, my mom is going to get evicted at the end of March, and she is either going to have to live with me, or she's going to live with my sister in Dallas, or she's going to get her own apartment or own place, just not as expensive. So luckily, she does live in the outside of Houston, more in the suburbs. So there is more cheaper rent and abilities over there to live more on a decent or basically no income, or maybe like my income and my sister's income combined can make her income. So we'll see. My mom is she's not disabled, but she does have a lot of things that cause her, she can't work basically. She has like shoulder pain, she has diabetes, she has all these health issues, osteoporosis, she has rheumatoid arthritis. I can't ever say that word. Arthritis, RA. She actually just had surgery this Sunday. I took off one of my 5 days to take her to the doctor, and they injected her with some medicine towards her back, so she'll be sore for a couple days currently, and that's supposed to help her with her pain. So definitely my mom's on the medical health, like not healthy side, but we're trying to definitely pay all of her medical bills, especially because if she doesn't get paid those, like, they'll take away her insurance and her medical stuff, and you know, it'll cause her more trouble. So my sister and I are definitely paying that first. So we definitely had to decide what was most important, and that was the mom's medical bills. And then we're trying to pay like the car insurance and the actual cars, because there's still like thousands of dollars in them. Now the only good thing is I was supposed to pay my loans. Again, like, I was not doing so good on them, y'all. Like, November was solid, December hit and I stopped paying with them, because then we had to figure out this whole, you know, like, dad deported thing. And basically the loans, I was able to call my Ed Financial and say, hey, I need help, like, this is the situation, and I don't have to pay him until July, so that's good. And then the other one, my UT, where I went to college, I don't have to start that till March, so there's a little bit of grace there. Then so normally in my life, it's usually my personal life is kind of crazy but my work life is solid, or it's the opposite, where my work life is kind of crazy but my personal life is solid. So in December, the personal life started getting crazy but the work life was okay. Like, I was on winter break. So we were told on the 21st of December, no, the 20th of December, that dad was going to be in Mexico for who knows, however long, forever, I don't know. We still have contact with him. We do have like messages and calls. But on the 25th of December, Christmas Day, that is when he officially left to go to Mexico. So that is something crazy. All right, sorry about that, y'all. I was a little yellow, so hopefully this new angle kind of helps. So the plan is we are going to sell everything that is not sentimental value or things that my mom really wants to keep and move into the either my apartment, sister's apartment, or Houghton apartment. And we are having a garage sale every single weekend, every Saturday and Sunday, from 9 to 2:30 on Saturday, and from 11:30 to 2:30 on Sundays, just because we realize a lot of people go to church on Sundays, so we don't want to start too late. That was the first mistake that we did. And the first garage sale was actually Martin Luther King weekend, so January something. But then the next weekend was the winter storm, so we couldn't do it then. And then the following weekend, it was actually cold, like 30 degrees, but there was no winter storm, but it was still too cold for us to be out there for 3 to 6 hours. So we're like, no, let's just do it the next weekend. We currently had one this previous weekend, and it went really good. We sold a lot of things, and we're gonna try again this weekend. Now, it's supposed to rain on Saturday, so we're gonna see, but Sunday, if we can, for sure. I don't know how the weather's gonna be like. You know how Houston and pretty much any weather can change just randomly. So we're gonna see about that. And so we have about 2 months left, honestly a month left, before my mom has to find a new place. We're gonna see if we can extend it to April when she has to move out. It's a little weird because the house is like with the family friend, so it's a little funky. I'm not going to tell you all the details, but pretty much my mom does have to move out either end of March or end of April, depending if we can get that extension. My mom, again, has so much disabilities and so much health issues that we're pretty much taking care of her, paying all of the stuff that we can, knowing that I have to pay all of my stuff, like my electricity, my water, the rent, all the bills, all the loans that I have, like personal, like credit card loans, and I'm trying to do the taxes so we can get some money there financially. And so honestly, the personal life was crazy, right? Now here's the thing. Remember what I said, that usually my personal life is crazy but my work life is stable, or my work life is crazy and my personal life is stable? Well, whoopsie-doo. So everything was fine the month of January. Beautiful, gorgeous, amazing. I mean, personal life, crap, but work life, solid. Kids, blue bonnet, and then we did star review. Everything was great until the end of January, and this is where all the crazy stuff happened. Now, I kind of told you a little bit at the previous vlog when I did the whole day in the life of a teacher. That was the last day, the last good day, the day in the life of a teacher with real timestamps. I missed that day. Here's what happened. It was Thursday. The morning, they said, hey, by the way, we have an emergency meeting. Okay, so I went to the office. They say, by the way, things are going to change. That's all they said. Things are going to change. We have a meeting from 4 to 5 to talk about the major change. Okay, so 4 o'clock hits. Y'all saw that. We went to the meeting. And basically, they said, we're going to change everything up. no more Bluebonnet. No more, no more schedule, basically. Basically, we're going to do Measuring Up, which is a book. Let me show y'all. This is Measuring Up, and then we have Serious. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Serious. These are the two new books that we were going to do. Okay, I mean, I really liked Bluebonnet, but all right. But here's the thing now. They told us on they told us on Thursday afternoon that this was going to be the new schedule. They're giving us an actual teak, I want you to teach this on this day, this is the schedule. I need you to teach this teak on this day, this teak on this day, so more scripted lessons. I'm like, okay. But here's the doozy. Oh, who is calling me? Don't know who this is. Here's the doozy, right? Where are the books? We don't have the books. We don't have the books. We don't have the books. Remember how Bluebonnet, when it first was, they only had 30 copies, but I had 60 students, so it's we had to share, we had to make copies. Same thing. We only have 5 copies of this. No, 5 copies of this, no copies of this. So they wanted us to start on Monday with no copies. Now they ordered them and they shipped them. I actually had an update. They shipped them this Monday. So hopefully we'll get them at the end of this week or sometime next week. So I'll give y'all an update on that. And then they also said, oh, we want a data tracker. We also, we need 30 minutes, 60 minutes, very scripted. Guess what? I broke down. I couldn't. When I was in that meeting with the rest of 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, because this was all STAR, so STAR testing grades, I was just listening to them talk about this new implementation, basically saying no more STAR. You have to do 30 minutes, teach this, and then 60 minutes small groups, and the kids have to be doing this, but they can't be playing games. So all of those games that I had, shut the box, mathematical games, those manipulatives, no more. All those STAR games, all those manipulative mathematical games that I have, no more. Basically saying we're revamping everything, and we only want you to do these 2 things with nothing else. But basically you only have 1 day to prepare. And the thing was, oh, if you don't have the books, you have to make copies. Each page is 5 pages long, and I have 57 kids. And it was okay. So I broke down. I couldn't. My personal life was already on its fritz. The winter storm had just passed, and then on top of this, they're raising the blood pressure. And y'all, it's not even just this. At first, I could handle this. I could. But with the personal life budging into it, I just couldn't. It got so overwhelming. I thought about my mom. I thought about I can't get fired. Because if I get fired, then I'm going to lose this job. And then how I'm going to pay my rent. How I'm going to pay my mom's medical bills. All the overwhelming just... It got to me. I started crying in the meeting. I try not to show it, but I think people noticed. I got all red and teary eyes, and I was trying to hide my eyes and tears, and it was. So, needless to say, this was last week, ready? Needless to say, this was the beginning of February. I tried Monday morning to get the copies. First of all, the copier machine broke on me. I didn't break it, but it was already broke, so I couldn't even make copies. So I had to basically just show it on the screen and then have the kids write it on paper. It was so bad. And then I tried to use the computers and the Wi-Fi wasn't working, y'all. And I tried to teach from Measuring Up. It was horrible. And then it was decimals, which was module 6, which we would have started that day. But it was literally jumping into a lake with no swimsuit or no paddles or no, what do they call the things that you put in your arms? I don't know what they're, air bubbles, whatever, literally, and you don't even know how to swim. So the kids were so confused. My homeroom, I feel so bad for my homeroom. So then the second class, I decided, let me do my own teaching the way that I would have taught it. So I took out the manipulatives, took out the disc. They learned it. They were fantastic. But guess who came to observe me? Admin. Oh my goodness. So they saw that obviously, hey, you're not doing what we wanted. So then I had a meeting with them in the front office during my ancillary, and basically I broke down again saying I'm so sorry, I'm just so overwhelmed. I didn't tell them about my personal life, but I told them guys, this is I just feel so overwhelmed because this is everything we have to do. And I'm not blaming my school. It's just we just have a lot of pressure on us, and I just want to talk to you guys about it and tell you guys my honest, you know, truths and about things that are going on, because I really truly do love this school. It's just like schools everywhere are just feeling the pressure of having to perform and get the kids to perform really well on the STAR test, and it is catching up to me, and these are just my honest feelings. But so in the morning, the students were released at 8 o'clock. Now they're released at 7:45 to 7:50 because we need to have 20 to 25 minutes of intervention. Now in the morning, I just have the kids do maybe IXL or their division facts, multiplication facts, read a book, something a little bit more simple as the kids come in from lunch and from pickup or drop off, just arrival. And then from the rest is fine. But now they said we have to do 5 to 7 minutes of fact fluency. So basically we have to spend an extra 5 to 7 minutes, you know, going over their multiplication facts, their division facts, anything that we're reviewing, division facts, something like that, decimal facts, something super short, super quick, super simple. That was okay because I had a program where we could do like a game of multiplication facts, and the kids got really into it. So I'll show you guys that in a later vlog. But then they also said, we also have to do the 45 minutes math a lot. It was 30 minutes reading, and then they changed it to math a lot because I'm the math teacher, but I would have done read a lot if I was reading. So that's another 45 minutes. And then, I never told y'all this, but in around, I would think it was December, so it wasn't that bad. In December, they said, okay, you have 5 parents that you have to call every week. This was in December, every week, and basically just ask, oh, how's it going? Do you need anything? Do you have any concerns, comments? They're not even my parents. They're like from 3rd grade, one's in 2nd grade, one's in 1st grade. So they're just random parents that they pegged who spoke English because, you know, my Spanish is not that fluent. So they chose the parents who spoke English, and I have to call them every week in December and basically just catch up with them. And I do like it. It's a lot on top of everything. And it is due that Friday by noon. Now, it was due, I used to call them at the end of Friday, but now this says it's due by noon. But now, in mid of January, they changed it to every 2 weeks. So I call them last Friday, so I don't have to call them this week. I have to call them next week. So that's another thing that we have to do. And then we have these STEM nights where we have to stay till 5, and that's every month. And then we have data meetings we have a STAR interim next week. And then we have to have that data done by like the next 2 days. And we have to put it on an anchor chart and put it in the in the front office. Guys, it's a little bit, okay? And then let me see what else we have to do. And as always, we have to do small groups each and every day. I'm gonna try, before this whole change, I was doing 2 small groups. Now, Miss Mary, here's the thing. Oh my God, Miss Mary. Now, Miss Mary, remember how I said that she hurt her back like in December, and that's why she wasn't here in December? Now, she was here consistent for 1 good week and a few days the next week, but around I think the last week of January, she said, hey, my back is killing me. I can't walk. I can't do anything. I cannot come and help. She's a volunteer, so she's not getting paid at all to do this. So it's really on her schedule. I can't force her to come in. So I haven't had Miss Mary in my classroom for about 3 weeks now, and I really do miss that support. I am getting no support. Miss Mary was my only support for math. There is a lot of support for reading. I feel like a lot of people take more kids out for reading, but I'm not really having any support for math, so I feel like I'm alone a bit. Then we have tutorials. Now, I'm not doing tutorials, but I have to prepare the items for tutorials. I have to print and copy, and I'm trying to, you know, prepare the tutorial person, like this is what page, and this is what activity, and this is what lesson. So it's a lot. And last Wednesday was the final day that I finally could not take it. When I get overwhelmed, you can see it in my face. I am just so tense, and I have like a solemn face, like I can't hide. I try to fake in front of the kids, but even they could tell like something was wrong. And it's just like, it just got so much with the personal life and the dad and the garage sales and the mom bills and everything that I was going on with the work life now, with this new system that we didn't even have the books. So last Wednesday, I told my principal, hey, listen, I can't, like, Like, I was this close to almost quitting, y'all. It was so bad. I need help because I had to still plan the field trip, y'all. Like, I had called the field trip people mid-January, and then this is when they told us, like, hey, by the way, never mind. And so I couldn't call them anymore. So I told them, like, I need help. Someone else needs to do the field trip, and luckily someone else did do it. And then I need this, and I need the markers because we're running out of markers, and I need help in this, I need help. So finally she said, what's going on? Because you're normally really good at handling all of this work stuff. Like, normally, again, like I said, if it was just the work stuff, I would be totally fine. And then I finally told her about my personal life, and that's when she totally understood, and she kind of gave me a little bit like, okay, now I kind of get why you've been so overwhelmed and so teary and so crying and so just like not there. Like, I just have not been performing my best, and she could see that, and everyone could see that. So finally I broke down. I was crying, y'all. I cried in front of my principal. Like, luckily she's one of those principals that she understands. So it went good. It went good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it could have totally been bad. She could have just said, like, suck it up, buttercup. But honestly, she was like, just, you know, talk to me if you ever need anything. I have an open door policy. So I haven't talked to her ever since that Wednesday. But oh, and then by the way, my formal observation was that Thursday. The Thursday, the next day after I broke down and cried in front of my principal was my formal observation. And guess what? Was I ready? No. Did I prepare anything? No. The copies were made. Well, kind of, because we ran out of copies for my third class. But nonetheless, so yeah, so that Wednesday I broke down, finally told her everything about dad, mom, everything, health. That Thursday was my formal observation. And then finally, I feel like that formal observation, the minute she left, I feel like I could finally breathe. I don't know why. I think everything with the formal observation kind of got to me, and I finally felt that I could be myself again. I feel I'm now above water a little bit. Like, I feel like I'm like paddling, and what's that one called, like when you're just standing still, swat, I don't know. But I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense, y'all, but I'm doing a lot better. I'm actually able to pick up the camera now and talk about it. And I actually changed my room. I'm gonna tell y'all a little because I gotta go home to my dog, because my dog, I have oh, by the way, that's another thing. I'm actually paying pet rent for him now, because I normally don't keep him. He's normally with my mom, but because the whole dad and mom thing situation happened, my mom said, can you keep him for a little bit? I was like, yeah, sure, but you know, I have to pay pet rent if he stays more than a couple of days. And so finally they were like, hey, like, we noticed you didn't have a dog. So I was like, okay, yeah, so I have to put him on the pet rent. So they caught me. You know, I wasn't trying to hide him, because I did, you know, put him around the whole apartment complex. But I knew after a few days they were going to say, like, hey, you know, you have a pet that's not on your lease. So I have to put him on the lease now. It's $30. I do have to pay a deposit that I have not paid yet. So that's going to be into it. And yeah, so yo, it's a little bit crazy. I know I look crazy, I sound okay, but honestly, like, last week was one of the worst weeks of my life, with everything that just happened between work and my personal life. I just went home every day at 4, and I was pretty much crying on the way to the apartment. And then I would just sleep it off. I would make dinner, walk cookie, sleep it off as much as I can, wake up, go to work the next day, repeat, and then do it again. And then finally, I think Friday was the first day that I did not cry at all, like a solid no tears at all. Saturday and Sunday we had a garage sale, and then Monday I took my mom to the doctor. And then yesterday was Tuesday, and then today is Wednesday. So little by little, I'm getting better. It still hurts, you know, having my dad in Mexico and my mom having so much health issues. And then now, like, I just wish that we could just teach the way we wanted, and it doesn't have to be so scripted or so, like, tense, because the kids are going to learn regardless of what book or what we do, as long as we just put in the effort. And we just, like, believe in them and show them that they have the ability to get good grades and good reports and, you know, be the best person that they can be. And it doesn't matter what book we use. We can use 1,000 books. What matters is how you teach it, how you relate to the kids, how the kids relate to you, and, you know, relationships and all that. So I just got to, you know, keep pushing forward. And I just wanted to tell you guys the truth. because it has been a little bit crazy lately, and you might not see a lot of vlogs, weekly vlogs like, you're used to. So just, I wanted y'all to understand why and just, not worry as much. But we're okay. We're gonna be okay. We just gotta do one day at a time. Now, really quickly before I leave, because I gotta go home to Cookie, I'm going to show you the new room. I'll dive more deep into my next video, but I just want to kind of show you a glimpse. I did this actually while the kids were working on their independent work with their measuring up book, and pretty much I was doing this while the kids were here, so they were helping me too. Let me show you. This is the new layout. So we're in groups of 5, and then we have 4 groups. I'm going to try and do stations, and then we have all of the copies there. But again, we have group 1, group 2, group 3, and then group 4. I do love the way that this looks. We have tested it out for my 2nd and my 3rd class. My homeroom has not seen this at all, and so they will pick their seat for the rest of the year. But so far, I do love how there is so much space. I do love how this looks in the middle. And so again, I will give you a more detailed look and explanation later on.